Simple doesn't need to be boring. Let me show you what I mean as I take some pretty basic stencil ideas to the next level with easy to do techniques that will add the wow factor to any project. Stick with me until the end because I am going to show you my secret to a fast and simple sentiment idea for any card when you are in a rush. For the first technique, I am going to start out by taking some distress ink and blending it through one of my favorite stencils my friend Keren designed. I am using Festive Berries and Fossilized Amber. I think these colors look so great together. After the colors are blended together, I am going to take some clear embossing powder that has glitter in it and just sprinkle it all over the card panel. The distress ink stays wet for a little bit, so the embossing powder will stick right to it. I am going to use my heat tool to melt the embossing powder, and you could see how easy it was to take the basic ink blending technique to the next level with just some glitter embossing powder. For this next technique, I will be taking another stencil from Keren and smushing some Versamark ink through the stencil. This way I can add some embossing powder. After I feel like I have a good amount of Versamark ink on my paper, I am going to use some white embossing powder and sprinkle it all over, which is pretty basic. Then I'm going to take some distress ink and blend two colors over the whole card panel. The two colors I use are Peacock Feathers and Fossilized Amber. And just a quick reminder, all of the supplies will be linked in the description box for you. The embossing powder will create a resist, and I'm going to take a baby wipe or a wet paper towel and wipe away all of the excess ink that's on the embossed areas. I am using my Make Art station to hold the stencil back in place over the embossed areas, and I'm going to take that basic emboss resist technique to the next level with some glitter gel. I am not the biggest fan of glitter, but if it's in a glitter gel form or in the embossing powder when it can be contained, I'm all for it. It makes a simple technique go from basic to amazing. For this next technique, I'm going to take some Seedless Preserves Distress Oxide ink and use my Dome blending brush and just blend a little bit of that ink onto that card panel. Next, I'm taking some chipped Sapphire Oxide ink, blending it out right next to the Seedless Preserves. Then I'm going to take some Peacock Feathers and blend that right next to the chipped Sapphire. I am not fully covering the card panel with the ink because I'm going to take a stencil and go back over the already inked areas. This is going to darken them just a little bit, and I'm going to add the ink just above the previous inked areas to give more interest to the card. Just for fun, I wanted to add even more interest to the card, so I'm going to be using the stencil to emboss the card panel. You can do this by running it through your die cut machine. Now I'm going to take those pretty basic techniques to the next level with a Nuvo shimmer pen. Yes, more glitter. This is a little more subtle, but it adds a wow factor to any basic technique. Now I'm going to use my new favorite product to add a no stamping sentiment to all of these card panels so that I can send them to my friends. Simple doesn't always mean boring. Check out what I mean for yourself in this video right here, where I take 3 supplies, a stencil, watercolors, and something I found in my kitchen to create amazing texture. You will not believe how simple it was. Check it out.